Nathan Grayson slammed his fist against the mahogany conference table, his knuckles turning white. The board members flinched, but none dared speak. His gray eyes were storms threatening to consume anyone foolish enough to challenge him.
You're telling me I have to get married to claim what's rightfully mine? My father built this empire. I've doubled its worth in 3 years.
Richard Pemberton, the eldest board member, cleared his throat. Nathan, your father's will was explicit. Full controlling shares transfer only after marriage. He wanted to ensure the Grayson legacy continued through family, not just business. Nathan's jaw clenched so hard it could crush diamonds. 28 years old, feared across 3 continents, called the Ice King by Forbes, and now reduced to this, a marriage requirement, like some medieval arrangement. He strode from the boardroom, his Italian leather shoes echoing through corridors lined with portraits of Grayson patriarchs. Each one stared down with the same ruthless eyes Nathan saw in his mirror every morning. In his penthouse office on the 47th floor, Nathan stood at the floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. His city. Skyscrapers reached toward the sky like fingers grasping for more, always more. A soft knock interrupted his thoughts. "Come in," he said without turning. The door opened with barely a whisper. Nathan caught the reflection in the window. A young woman in a simple black uniform carrying fresh towels. Lena. She moved like a shadow through his life, always there but never intrusive. "Sir, I've brought the linens you requested." Her voice was soft, almost melodic. Nathan turned to face her properly for the first time in months. She kept her eyes downcast, dark lashes against pale cheeks. An idea formed. Insane, brilliant, perfect. "What's your full name?" he asked. She looked up, startled. Her eyes were amber, like whiskey in sunlight. "Lena, sir. Lena Miller. How long have you worked here?" 8 months, sir." "Are you married, engaged, in a relationship?" Color flooded her cheeks. "No, sir. I'm alone." Alone. The word hung between them. Nathan studied her, really studied her. There was something in her eyes, a depth of sadness that matched the emptiness he felt at 3 a.m. when the conquests felt hollow. "I have a proposition for you," he said, moving closer. "I need a wife, not a real one, a contract marriage, 1 year. You'll live here, attend events with me, play the part of Mrs. Grayson in public. In private, we maintain separate lives." Her eyes widened. "Sir, I don't understand. It's simple. I need a wife to secure my inheritance." "You need what? Money? Security? A way out of scrubbing floors for the rest of your life?" She flinched at that. "I'll pay you $5 million, he continued. "Tax-free, deposited into an offshore account. After 1 year, we divorce quietly. You disappear with enough money to start whatever life you want." Lena's hands trembled slightly on the towels she still held. "Why me?" she whispered. "Because you're convenient. Because you understand discretion." He moved to his desk, pulling out a leather folder. "I'll have my lawyers draw up the contract. You have 24 hours to decide." The next evening, Lena appeared in his office again. "I'll do it," she said. "But I have conditions." Nathan raised an eyebrow. "Continue." "I want access to the Grayson Foundation records. I want to work there, help with charity operations. I want to do something meaningful." "Done. What else?" "After the year, I want a complete separation, no contact. You forget I existed, and I forget you." He nodded. "Agreed." She stepped forward, extending her hand. "Then we have a deal, Mr. Grayson." He shook it. Her hand was small in his, but her grip was surprisingly firm. "The lawyers will have the papers ready tomorrow." She turned to leave, then paused at the door. "Mr. Grayson, why don't you just marry someone you actually care about?" Nathan's expression hardened. "I don't care about anyone, Miss Miller. Love is a liability I can't afford." She looked at him with something that might have been pity. How lonely that must be. The signing took place in his private office. Lena wore a simple gray dress. She could have been signing a mortgage application instead of a marriage contract that would change both their lives. Nathan watched her read every page, her finger trailing down paragraphs of legal jargon. As the notary stamped the documents, Lena reached into her purse. Nathan glimpsed something, an old photograph, worn at the edges. A man in a business suit, smiling at the camera. The man wore a lapel pin Nathan recognized, the the same pin his father's generation of businessmen had worn. But Lena had already zipped the purse shut, her face revealing nothing. "Who was that in the photograph?" Nathan asked after dismissing everyone else. Her face went pale, then carefully neutral. "No one important, just someone I used to know." "You're lying." "The contract says no questions, Mr. Grayson, remember?" She met his eyes then, and Nathan saw something flicker in those amber depths, something that looked like rage, quickly buried beneath a mask of composure. "We marry Friday," he said slowly. "1 year from then, we part ways. But Lena, if you're playing some game, I will destroy you." She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "I'm just a maid, Mr. Grayson. What threat could I possibly be?" The wedding at City Hall took 11 minutes. No flowers, no music. Lena wore a cream-colored dress she'd bought from a department store. Nathan wore one of his $1,000 suits, checking his phone twice during the vows. "I do," Lena said when prompted, her voice steady. "I do," Nathan echoed, the words meaningless sounds. That evening, Nathan brought her to the penthouse. The space was masculine, all sharp angles and dark colors. No warmth, no personality. "Your room is down this hall," he said. "Mine is on the opposite side. You have a credit card for expenses. Use it discreetly." "Where are you going?" Lena asked as he headed toward the door. "Out. I have a business dinner." He paused. "Don't wait up, wife." The door closed with a decisive thud. Lena moved through rooms that echoed with emptiness, finally settling in the guest room. She pulled out the photograph she'd hidden in her purse, her father, James Ward, smiling at the camera during happier times. Before Marcus Grayson, Nathan's father, had destroyed Ward Industries. Before her father had lost everything. Before he'd stood on that bridge and made his final choice. "I'm inside now, Papa," she whispered. "I'm going to find proof of what Marcus did. I'm going to make the Graysons pay." But even as she said it, doubt crept in. Nathan wasn't Marcus. Was it fair to punish the son for the father's sins? She pushed the thought away. Fair didn't matter. Justice mattered. The first month of marriage was a performance. Nathan's PR team scheduled appearances, charity galas, business dinners. Each event required Lena to transform from maid to mogul's wife. At the Rothschild Foundation Gala, Victoria Ashford cornered Lena by the champagne fountain. Victoria, Nathan's ex-fiancée in all but name. "So, you're the lucky maid," Victoria said, her smile sharp as cut glass. "How does it feel to play Cinderella?" Lena met her gaze calmly. "I'm not playing anything, Victoria. I'm living my life." "Living on borrowed time, you mean? Nathan doesn't do love. He does transactions." "Then I guess we'll both be disappointed," Lena said, "because I'm not scrubbing toilets anymore, and Nathan's bed isn't something I'm interested in warming." Nathan found her on the terrace, staring at the city lights. "Victoria, giving you trouble?" "Nothing I can't handle." He studied her profile. "You handled her better than most. I've dealt with worse than rich women with too much time and not enough purpose." "Is that what you think we all are?" Lena turned to him. The moonlight softened his harsh features. "I think most people at this party have forgotten what it's like to struggle. And you remember? Every single day." Something shifted in his expression. "My father used to say struggle builds character. He grew up with nothing, built his empire from nothing." "And what about in life?" Lena asked softly. "Does weakness get you killed there too?" Nathan's jaw tightened. "We should go back inside." "Let them talk. We're married, remember?" "There's nothing to enjoy about a contract, Lena." But his eyes said something different. They lingered on her face, traced the curve of her neck. For just a moment, Lena saw heat there, interest. Then he blinked and the ice returned. Lena began her real work in week 6. Nathan had granted her access to the Grayson Foundation, and she'd requested to help organize their filing systems. Perfect cover for what she really wanted. 3 times she stayed late when everyone else had gone home. The first time, her hands shook as she hacked into the Foundation's database using credentials she'd observed. From there, she found pathways into archived business records, Ward Industries. The name made her chest ache. She clicked through files dated 15 years ago. Hostile takeover attempts, legal challenges, smear campaigns. And there, buried in encrypted emails, was the proof. Marcus Grayson had bribed officials, falsified documents, destroyed her father's company through illegal means. Lena downloaded everything onto an encrypted flash drive, her heart hammering. This was it. This was justice. But as she ejected the drive, she heard footsteps in the hallway. Panic seized her. She shoved the drive into her purse and dove under the desk just as the door opened. "Anyone here?" A security guard's voice echoed. His flashlight swept across the room, passed over the desk, lingered. "Must be hearing things," he muttered, and the door closed. Lena waited 5 full minutes before emerging. That was too close. That night, she hid the flash drive in her jewelry box. It felt heavier than it should, like it contained not just data, but the weight of her father's ghost. "Soon, Papa," she whispered. "Soon I'll make them pay." But as she lay in bed, another thought haunted her. Nathan's face when he'd talked about his father. Could she destroy him for crimes he didn't commit? Something changed in month 3. Nathan started coming home earlier. He'd find her reading or cooking, and he'd linger. Ask about her day. Actually listen. "You don't have to do that," she said one evening as he helped her chop vegetables. "Cook, I mean." "Maybe I like cooking." He was terrible at it. "My mother used to cook before she died." Lena's hands stilled. Nathan never mentioned his mother. "How old were you?" 10, cancer, fast and brutal. His knife came down harder. "My father threw himself into work afterward, said grieving was weakness." "That's not strength," Lena said quietly. "That's running away." "Maybe, but it's the only way I know how to survive." Without thinking, Lena reached out and covered his hand with hers. The touch shocked them both. Nathan looked at their joined hands like physical comfort was a foreign language. "Nathan," she began, but didn't know how to finish. He pulled away gently. "I should check my emails." But the barrier between them had cracked, just slightly. The charity gala for the Children's Hospital was the event of the season. Lena wore emerald silk that made her amber eyes shine like fire. Nathan couldn't stop looking at her. "You clean up well, Mr. Grayson," she teased. "You're not so bad yourself, Mrs. Grayson." The words came easier now. Throughout the evening, Nathan stayed close. When a drunk investor made inappropriate comments, Nathan's hand found the small of Lena's back, protective. When the orchestra played, he led her onto the dance floor. "I didn't know you could dance," Lena said. "I can't. I'm counting steps and hoping I don't crush your feet." She laughed, a real laugh that lit up her whole face. Nathan felt something shift in his chest, a movement that terrified him. "Why did you really marry me?" he asked suddenly. The laughter died. Lena's body tensed. "You know why. $5 million. Liar." He pulled her closer. "I've watched you for 3 months. You barely spend the money. You work at the foundation like it actually matters. So, I'll ask again. Why?" She met his eyes. "Maybe I'm not sure anymore. That's not an answer. It's the only one I can give you." The song ended. They stood in the middle of the dance floor, locked in a moment that felt stolen from time. Then Victoria appeared, champagne glass in hand, smile venomous. How touching, the billionaire and his little charity project. Nathan's expression turned arctic. "Careful, Victoria. Everyone knows this is fake, some business arrangement so you could secure your inheritance." "Victoria," Nathan's voice was steel, "you're drunk and you're embarrassing yourself." "My reputation? I'm not the one who married the help." Nathan moved fast. He stepped between her and Victoria. "That's my wife you're insulting. And yes, she was the help. She worked for her money. She knows what it means to earn something instead of inheriting it from Daddy. So, when you're ready to compete with that kind of integrity, you let me know." He took Lena's hand. "We're leaving." In the car, silence reigned. "You didn't have to do that," Lena said finally. "Yes, I did." Nathan stared out the window. "No one talks to you like that. Contract or not, you're my wife, and I protect what's mine." "I'm not yours, Nathan." He turned to her, and the look in his eyes stole her breath. "Aren't you?" The question hung between them, dangerous and electric. "I don't know anymore," Lena whispered. That night, Nathan walked her to her bedroom door. They stood in the hallway, close enough that Lena could feel the heat radiating from his body. "Lena," he began, then stopped. His hand came up, almost touching her face, then dropped. "Good night." "Nathan, wait." She caught his arm. "Thank you. For tonight. for defending me. You shouldn't have to thank me for basic decency. In your world, that's rare." He smiled then, really smiled. It transformed his face, made him look like someone who could be happy. "Maybe you're changing my world," he said softly. He left before she could respond. Lena closed her door and leaned against it, trembling. This wasn't supposed to happen. She wasn't supposed to care about him. She pulled out the flash drive, held it in her palm. So small, so destructive. Her phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. "Don't forget why you're there. Ward Industries, your father, justice." Her contact from the investigative journalism firm. The people waiting for her signal to publish the story that would demolish the Grayson empire. Lena closed her eyes. Her father's last words echoed, "Promise me you'll make them pay." She'd promised, but now all she could see was Nathan's smile. "I'm sorry, Papa," she whispered. "I'm so sorry." The next day, Nathan found her in the library. She was staring at nothing, tears on her cheeks. "Lena, are you all right?" "I can't," her voice broke. "Nathan, I can't tell you." "Then don't tell me. Just let me be here." He pulled her against his chest, awkward at first, then more naturally. Lena buried her face in his shirt and cried. For her father, for herself, for the impossible situation. Nathan held her, one hand stroking her hair. He didn't ask questions. He just held her while she fell apart. When the tears stopped, Lena pulled back. Nathan's shirt was soaked, but he didn't seem to care. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "Don't be." He cupped her face. "Everyone's allowed to break sometimes. Even billionaire ice kings? Even them?" His gray eyes searched hers. "Lena, whatever you're hiding, you can tell me. I won't judge. I won't hurt you." She almost believed him, almost confessed everything. But her phone buzzed again. 2 weeks until publication deadline. Need your confirmation." The spell broke. "I should rest. I have a headache." "Lena." "Please, Nathan, just give me space." Late that night, Lena found Nathan at his desk, surrounded by old photographs. His mother, his father, himself as a child, caught between them. "Couldn't sleep?" she asked. "Come in." She sat across from him. On the desk was a photograph of Marcus Grayson in his prime. "He was a monster," Nathan said quietly. "I know that now. When I was young, I thought he was a god. But as I got older, I learned the truth. The competitors he crushed, the lives he destroyed." Lena's breath caught. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because I don't want to be him." Nathan looked at her, eyes raw. "I spent my whole life trying to be worthy of his legacy. But what if his empire was built on bones?" She should tell him, right now. This was the moment, but instead, she reached across and took his hand. "You're not your father, Nathan. You get to choose who you are." "Do I? Or are we all just products of our parents' sins?" "We're more than that. We have to be." He squeezed her hand. "Thank you. For not running. For staying. This is the most human I've ever seen you. Is that good or bad? It's real, that's what matters." They sat there, hands joined, until dawn. Neither mentioned the vulnerability. Neither broke the spell, but Lena knew time was running out. Soon, she'd have to choose. Justice or love. 1 week before the publication deadline, everything unraveled. Nathan was in meetings and Lena was alone. She pulled out her laptop to review the evidence one final time. But as she opened the files, her phone rang. Unknown number. "Hello? Mrs. Grayson? Or should I say Miss Ward?" Ice flooded her veins. "Who is this?" "Someone who knows exactly who you are and what you're planning. The question is, does your husband? What do you want? I represent interests that would prefer the Grayson family's past remain buried. You have 24 hours to destroy all evidence and disappear. If you don't, I'll tell Nathan everything. And when he learns you've been lying, he'll make your father's downfall look like a picnic." The line went dead. Lena sat frozen. Someone else knew? Someone was watching. She had to leave. Before Nathan came home and everything exploded. But as she threw clothes into a suitcase, she heard the elevator. Nathan was home early. He took one look at her face and knew something was wrong. "What happened?" "Nothing. I'm just tired." "You're packing a suitcase. That's not tired. That's running. He grabbed her arm gently. Lena, what's going on? I need to leave. Please don't ask why. The hell I won't ask. His voice rose. For months you've been hiding something. I've trusted you, but now you're running, and I need to know why. You can't know. If you know, everything falls apart. Everything's already falling apart. He ran his hands through his hair. I don't know what's real anymore. This marriage started as a contract, but somewhere it became something else, at least for me. And I need to know if it became something for you too. The raw honesty broke her. Nathan, tell me the truth. He stepped closer. Who are you really? My name isn't Lena Miller, she whispered. It's Elena Ward. Nathan's face went blank. Ward, as in Ward Industries? James Ward was my father. Your father destroyed his company 15 years ago, used illegal methods, bribed officials. My father lost everything. He killed himself when I was 13. Her voice cracked. He jumped off a bridge because Marcus Grayson took everything. Nathan staggered backward. No, my father wouldn't. I have proof. The words tumbled out. Encrypted emails, financial records, every crime. I came here to expose the truth, to destroy the Grayson Empire the way your family destroyed mine. You married me for revenge? His voice was hollow. Yes. The admission felt like swallowing glass. I married you to get close, to find evidence, to make your family pay. Everything was a lie? At first. She moved toward him. At first it was all revenge, but then I got to know you, the real you. I didn't plan to fall in love with you, Nathan, but I did. He laughed, bitter and broken. Love? You call this love? You've been playing me for months. Every moment, every conversation, every time I let myself be vulnerable, it was all part of your scheme. No, that was real. All of it was real. I don't believe you. He turned away. Get out! Nathan, please! Get out! The shout echoed through the penthouse. When he faced her again, tears streaked his face. You want to destroy my family? Fine. Publish your evidence. But don't stand there and tell me you love me. You don't destroy people you love. Lena wanted to argue, but the look on his face stopped her. She'd broken something that might never heal. I'll leave, she whispered, but Nathan, you need to know the truth about your father, not for revenge, for you, so you can be free of his shadow. I don't want your truth. I don't want anything from you. She left everything except her purse with the flash drive. As the elevator descended, Lena made her decision. The Grayson Empire would fall, but not for revenge anymore, for something bigger. She called her contact. I'm ready. Schedule the publication, but I want to be the one to present the evidence, publicly. When? The Grayson Foundation Charity Gala. 3 days from now. Every major news outlet will be there. It's perfect. That night, Lena broke into Grayson Enterprises. She knew the security codes from her months of access. She found what she needed in a storage room, boxes marked with dates from 15 years ago. Inside was more evidence. But she also found something else. Letters. Letters from Marcus Grayson to his son, written before his death. Letters Nathan had never seen. Nathan, one read, I know I've taught you to be hard, to show no mercy. But I was wrong. The empire I built is poisoned at its roots. I destroyed good men to build it. James Ward was one of them, and I've carried that guilt every day. I'm dying now, and I want you to know the truth, so you can be better than I was, so you can make things right. Lena's hands shook as she photographed every page. Marcus Grayson had felt remorse, had wanted Nathan to find out, had tried to confess, but someone had hidden these letters, buried them. The question was who and why. The next morning, Lena showed up at the penthouse. Nathan's security tried to stop her, but she pushed past. I need to see Nathan, now. He emerged from his office, looking like he hadn't slept. What are you doing here? I found something. Letters from your father. He knew what he'd done was wrong. He wanted to tell you. Wanted you to make amends. She showed him the photographs. Nathan read them, his face cycling through disbelief, anger, grief. Why are you showing me this? Because you deserve to know. Your father wasn't just a monster. He was a man who made terrible choices and tried to fix them. Someone buried these letters. Someone wanted you to inherit without knowing the truth. Who? I don't know yet, but I'm going to find out. At the gala, I'm going to expose everything. The crimes, the cover-up, all of it. Nathan's jaw clenched. And destroy me in the process. No, to set you free. She stepped closer. You've spent your whole life trying to live up to a legacy built on lies. Don't you want to know who you could be without that weight? I want you gone. But his voice lacked conviction. You don't mean that. Don't tell me what I mean. He grabbed her shoulders, not roughly but desperately. You broke my heart, Lena. You made me feel things I swore I'd never feel, and it was all manipulation. It wasn't manipulation, not after the first month. After that, every moment was real, every laugh, every conversation. That was real, Nathan. I love you, and I'm going to prove it. How? By ruining my life publicly? By giving you the choice your father never got. The choice to walk away from a corrupt empire and build something honest, something yours. She pulled away. Come to the gala, hear what I have to say, and then decide who you want to be. Marcus Grayson's son or Nathan Grayson, your own man. The Grayson Foundation Charity Gala was the event of the year. Over 300 guests filled the grand ballroom. Crystal chandeliers cast rainbow light, champagne flowed, cameras flashed. Lena arrived alone, wearing a simple black dress. No jewelry except her wedding ring. She looked small among the glittering crowd, but her spine was steel. Nathan arrived with his board members, his face carefully blank. When his eyes found Lena, something flashed there. Pain, longing, anger. The evening progressed with speeches and auctions. Lena waited, her moment coming closer. The flash drive felt heavy in her clutch purse. Then, just as Lena was about to take the stage, the ballroom doors burst open. A man walked in, older, silver-haired, walking with a cane. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Marcus Grayson. Supposedly dead for 3 years. Very much alive. Nathan went white. That's impossible. You're dead. I was at your funeral. You were at a funeral, Marcus said, his voice raspy but strong. My funeral was greatly exaggerated. I've been in Switzerland recovering from the stroke that nearly killed me, and watching, waiting to see what you do with my empire. He turned to Lena. Elena Ward. I wondered if you'd find your way here eventually. You look just like your mother. The room erupted in whispers. Lena stood frozen as Marcus approached. I owe you an apology, he said. What I did to your father was unforgivable. I was ruthless, cruel. I destroyed him to build my empire, and I've regretted it every day since. Then why hide? Lena demanded. Why fake your death and leave Nathan to inherit your poison legacy? Because I needed to know if he'd be different, if he'd see through the corruption and choose better. I left clues, letters, evidence. I wanted him to find it, to reject what I'd built and create something honest. Nathan's hands clenched into fists. You've been alive this whole time, watching me struggle, testing me like some experiment? I've been dying this whole time, Marcus corrected. The doctors give me months at best. I wanted to see the man you'd become before the end. And I wanted to give you the chance I never had. The chance to choose truth over power. He turned back to Lena. You came here for revenge. I don't blame you. But I'm asking you to consider something else. Justice doesn't have to mean destruction. It can mean transformation. You don't get to ask me for anything. You killed my father. I did, and I'll carry that guilt to my grave, which isn't far off now. Marcus pulled an envelope from his jacket. This is the deed to Ward Industries. I had it reassembled quietly over the years. Every patent, every trademark. It's yours now, along with a formal apology and restitution. He handed her the envelope. Lena stared at it, tears streaming. This doesn't bring him back, she whispered. No, nothing can. But it's a start. Lena looked at Nathan. He stood rigid, his face a mask. Their eyes met across the ballroom, and in that moment, she saw everything. His betrayal, his pain, but also his love, still there despite everything. She walked to the microphone, her heels clicking on marble. The crowd fell silent. My name is Elena Ward, she began. Many of you remember my father, James Ward. 15 years ago, Marcus Grayson destroyed his company through illegal means. My father lost everything and took his own life. I came here tonight to expose the truth, to make the Grayson family pay. She pulled out the flash drive, held it up. I have all the evidence, every bribed official, every falsified document, every crime. I could release this and watch the Grayson empire crumble. Nathan's eyes never left her face. But I'm not going to do that. Not because the Graysons don't deserve consequences, they do. But because revenge won't bring my father back. It won't heal the hole in my heart. It won't change the past. She looked at Nathan. I fell in love with a man who's been trying his whole life to live up to an impossible standard. A man who's kind when he thinks no one's watching, who defended me when others mocked me, who held me when I cried and didn't ask why. That man doesn't deserve to be punished for his father's sins. She turned to Marcus. You want transformation? Here it is. I'm donating Word Industries to charity, creating a foundation that helps families destroyed by corporate greed. Every cent will go to rebuilding lives like my father's. She held up the flash drive again. And this evidence goes to the proper authorities, not as revenge, but as accountability. Let the courts decide what justice looks like. She removed her wedding ring, held it in her palm. Nathan, I lied to you. I used you. I broke your heart. And I understand if you can never forgive me. But know this. Loving you was never part of the plan. Loving you was the realest thing I've ever done. She set the ring on the podium. I release you from our contract. You're free. Be the man you want to be, not the man you think you should be. The ballroom was silent. Then Nathan moved, striding through the crowd. He reached the stage, climbed the steps, and stood before Lena. You're right, he said. You lied to me, you used me, you broke my heart. He picked up the ring. But you also saved me. You showed me what it means to care about something more than money, to fight for something bigger than myself. You showed me I could be more than my father's legacy. He took her hand. Elena Ward, you came into my life as revenge, but you became my salvation, and I'm not letting you walk away. He slid the ring back onto her finger. This marriage started as a contract, but it became real, at least for me, and I think maybe for you too. Lena sobbed, nodding. It did. It is. Nathan, I love you. I'm so sorry. Don't be sorry. Be with me. Help me rebuild. Not my father's empire, but something new, something honest. He kissed her then, in front of 300 witnesses and a dozen cameras. Not the cold, contracted kiss of their wedding, but something desperate and real and healing. The crowd erupted in applause. Marcus Grayson watched from the edge, tears on his weathered face. 2 months later, the legal proceedings had begun. Marcus Grayson faced charges for corporate crimes committed decades ago. The Grayson empire underwent massive restructuring, with Nathan voluntarily dissolving the corrupt portions and donating billions to restitution funds. Lena's Ward Foundation opened its doors, helping families affected by corporate malfeasance. She worked there every day, finally finding purpose beyond revenge. Nathan stepped down from Grayson Enterprises, using his business acumen to help rebuild companies destroyed by his father. Penance and purpose combined. They lived in a smaller apartment now, somewhere with actual warmth and color, somewhere that felt like a home. One evening, cooking dinner together, Nathan wrapped his arms around Lena. Do you regret it, giving up the revenge? Every day I remember my father's face, and every day I choose love over hate. It's not easy, but it's right. I'm sorry for what my father did. And I'm sorry for the lies, for breaking your heart. You also healed it, showed me it was there at all. They kissed, tender and familiar. Outside their window, the city glowed with millions of lights in the darkness. So what now? Lena asked. Now we build, Nathan said. Something real, something ours, something that would make my mother proud and your father forgive. You think he'd forgive me for falling in love with a Grayson? I think he'd understand that love doesn't follow logic. It follows the heart. Maybe that was the real plan all along. Not revenge, but redemption. They stood there, two broken people learning to be whole again. He married her for business. She married him for revenge. But somewhere between lies and betrayal, they found something real. In the end, Nathan and Lena didn't just rebuild an empire, they rebuilt each other. Because sometimes, love doesn't save us from our past. It redeems it. If this story touched your heart, if you felt every twist and every emotion, Hit that like button and share this with someone who loves a good billionaire romantic mystery. Leave a comment about your favorite moment. And subscribe to Dynasty Stories for more tales of love, power, and redemption. See you in the next story, where passion meets power and every secret has its price.